Welcome to G Fun Facts Online. Today, we are submerging into the most alien environment on Earth, not to look at the animals, but to listen to them. We are decoding the syntax of the sea. For centuries, humanity looked at the ocean and saw a silent, blue void. We assumed that beneath the waves, silence reigned. We were fundamentally wrong. The ocean is not silent. In the crushing darkness where sunlight fades to black, the water is filled with a cacophony of clicks, whistles, moans, and booms. It is a soundscape as complex and vibrant as any rainforest, populated by intelligences that have been communicating across vast distances for millions of years before the first word was spoken by a human. Through the convergence of marine biology, linguistics, and artificial intelligence, we are finally beginning to parse this non-human culture. This is not just about recording animal noises. It is about decoding a sophisticated system of communication that possesses grammar, dialects, names, and perhaps a form of oral history. To understand this language, we first have to understand the instrument. Sound travels more than 4 times faster in water than in air, preserving its energy over thousands of kilometers. Cetaceans, meaning whales, dolphins, and porpoises, have evolved to master this physics. Their bodies are biological synthesizers. Let's look at the toothed whales, the odontocetes, which include sperm whales, orcas, and dolphins. These animals are masters of high-frequency precision. Unlike us, they do not produce sound by passing air over vocal cords. They have evolved a mechanism that is far more strange. They generate sound through phonic lips, sometimes called monkey lips, which are muscular structures located in the nasal passage just below the blowhole. As air is forced past these lips, they snap together to create a vibration. But the real engineering marvel is what happens next. This vibration is transmitted through the melon, a fatty, oil-filled organ on the animal's forehead. The melon acts as an acoustic lens, focusing the sound into a tight, directional beam. This allows a dolphin to essentially flashlight the dark ocean with sound, inspecting a fish's swim bladder or a buried crab with surgical precision. And they are capable of multitasking. Dolphins possess a dual-source vocalization capability. They can produce echolocation clicks with one set of phonic lips, while simultaneously producing tonal whistles with another. This allows them to talk and see at the same time, which would be like a human holding a complex conversation while simultaneously screaming to map the room, without the two signals ever interfering. On the other end of the spectrum, we have the baleen whales, the mysticetes, like the humpback and the blue whale. They operate in a world of deep bass and massive wavelengths. They possess a larynx, but no vocal cords. Instead, they utilize a U-shaped fold of tissue and a massive laryngeal sac. When a humpback sings, it does not exhale. It recycles air between its lungs and this laryngeal sac in a closed-loop system. This allows them to sing for 20 minutes or more without ever surfacing for a breath, resonating their massive chests to project songs that can be heard hundreds of miles away. It is a system of terrifying efficiency. For decades, we assumed these sounds were just emotional outbursts, simple signals for food, danger, or mating. We now know this view is dangerously reductive. Cetacean communication exhibits syntax, a set of rules that governs how sound units are combined to create meaning. The song of the male humpback whale is the most famous example. In the 1970s, researchers Roger Payne and Scott McVeigh discovered that these songs are not random. They are hierarchical. They are built like a language. You have units, the fundamental building blocks like individual whoops or chirps. These combine into phrases, a specific sequence repeated for 15 to 20 seconds. Phrases combine into themes, and a collection of 5 to 7 themes sung in a specific order constitutes a song. But the complexity lies in the evolution of the song. Over the course of a breeding season, the song changes. One unit might drop in pitch, or a phrase might be cut short. Every male in the population makes these changes in lockstep. It is a cultural display of conformity, a choir that rewrites its sheet music as it sings. However, I should mention that this linguistic view is currently being challenged by the heterarchical model. This theory suggests that the grammar of the song is actually driven by physiological constraints, the need to manage oxygen and pressure during a dive, rather than a semantic message. In this view, the song is less like a sentence and more like a structured workout routine. The debate between song as language versus song as physiology is currently one of the most heated in bioacoustics. If humpbacks are the opera singers, sperm whales are the Morse code operators. Their communication consists almost entirely of codas, which are rhythmic patterns of clicks. For years, this sounded like static to human ears. But in 2024 and 2025, the Project CTI team made a breakthrough that shook the foundations of linguistics. Using advanced AI to analyze thousands of hours of recordings, they discovered that these clicks are not binary. They found a sperm whale phonetic alphabet, By removing the silence between the clicks and analyzing the spectral properties of the sound, they realized the whales were modulating the frequency of the clicks to create vowel-like structures. They identified an A vowel and an I vowel, along with diphthongs. Furthermore, they discovered the use of rubato in ornamentation. Rubato is a musical term where the tempo is subtly sped up or slowed down. The whales do this to change the feel or meaning of a coda. Ornamentation involves adding extra grace notes or clicks at the end of a sequence. This means a standard 5-click coda isn't just one word. Depending on the vowel intonation, the rubato, and the ornamentation, that single rhythm could have dozens of different meanings. It is a combinatorial coding system, much like human phonemes combining into words. Then we have the dolphins. We have known for decades that bottlenose dolphins possess signature whistles. In the first few months of life, a dolphin invents a unique whistle that acts as its name. They use this to broadcast their identity and to address others. But the recent Sarasota-based study has cracked the code on non-signature whistles. For years, these other whistles were dismissed as noise. But researchers found that specific non-signature whistles are shared across the entire community and carry stable meanings. One specific curve means alarm, while another functions as a query. These are referential signals. They are not just names. They are common nouns or verbs, shared words that allow for abstract communication. This brings us to the concept of culture. Language is the vessel of culture, and cetaceans have it in spades. This is evident in the phenomenon of song revolutions. In the Pacific Ocean, a cultural wave travels from west to east. Humpback whales in Western Australia sing a specific song. Some of those males migrate to Eastern Australia, bringing their song with them. The local males in Eastern Australia hear this new tune, the latest hit, and they abandon their old song entirely to adopt the new one. This revolution then ripples across the Pacific to New Zealand, Tonga, and all the way to Ecuador. This is horizontal cultural transmission. It is not genetic, it is learned, and it is driven by a desire for novelty that feels startlingly human. In the Pacific Northwest, orcas show us a different kind of linguistic culture involving dialects. The southern resident orcas are divided into 3 pods: J, K, and L. Each pod has its own distinct dialect. J-pod is known for the S01 call, a specific sequence of pulsed calls. A whale from J-pod can communicate with L-pod, but they speak with a heavy accent. This dialect is learned from the mother. If a calf is born into J-pod, it learns J-pod slang. In contrast, the transient orcas, which hunt mammals rather than fish, are almost silent to avoid alerting their prey. Even though they swim in the same waters as the residents, they possess a completely different dialect and culture. They are 2 alien civilizations passing in the night. So where do we go from here? We are living through the golden age of cetacean research, driven by artificial intelligence. The sheer volume of data is impossible for humans to analyze, but machine learning thrives on it. Generative adversarial networks, or GANs, are now being used to hallucinate whale sounds. By training a GAN on sperm whale codas, researchers asked the AI to complete the sentence. The AI models picked up on the subtle vowel structures and context cues that human ears missed for 50 years. We are essentially building a Rosetta Stone. The goal is to understand the Umwelt, the worldview, of an aquatic intelligence. Futurists have begun to whisper about the dolphin singularity. As our AI translation tools improve, we approach a threshold where two-way communication becomes possible. Imagine an underwater speaker playing back a synthesized sperm whale vowel sequence that asks a question and receiving a coherent answer. It sounds like science fiction, but recorded conversations between dolphins in the Black Sea have already shown them waiting for each other to finish speaking before responding, exchanging pulses and structured packets. They were polite, they were structured, we just didn't know what they were saying. Why does this matter? For our entire history, we have searched for intelligence in the stars. We built radio telescopes to listen for a signal from the cosmos, desperate for proof that we are not alone. All the while, in the darkness of our own oceans, a complex, cultured, grammatical intelligence has been singing. They have names, they have dialects, they have songs that sweep across oceans, like wildfire. Decoding cetacean syntax is a humbling reevaluation of humanity's place on Earth. We are not the only thinkers, the only speakers, or the only singers. We are simply the ones who finally learned to listen. As we peer into the blue abyss, we are finding that the alien intelligence we sought was swimming alongside us all along. Thanks for listening to G Fun Facts Online.